Thank you. Roles of Somerset as Governor of the Cape between 1814-26. As seen that the new administration of the British came in, and therefore very many governors were appointed in this British administration. One of the governors was Lord Somerset. He was British governor between 1814-26. Between 1814-26. A very good administrator who was pro-African, and he didn't want to have any kind of segregation on the what? On the blacks. A very sympathetic administrator, especially to slaves, because the Dutch had promoted slavery. This enslavement did not go well for Lord Somerset. He was very sympathetic to slaves because of the suffering they were going through, and also the colored men, the Khoikhoi. They call them colored, the colored red, the Khoikhoi. So these people were given consideration by Lord Somerset that they should not be segregated anymore. 1816, he ordered for registration of slaves. Why did he register all the slaves? He wanted to know the number of slaves, to know where they were staying, and to ensure how they were living. In 1816, it was made illegal to get mature slaves. Yes, he was, in other words, trying to kick out this vice of slave trade, slavery, which had been introduced by the Dutch. So he was trying to ensure that all mature slaves are not registered, only the younger ones. And by the time, with time, even the younger ones were illegal to be put under domestic slavery. All those that were not registered as slaves were to be freed. Yes, that whoever was not registered was to be freed. Like I said, that was very good because it was kicking out this vice of enslavement. He put protection for all slaves in every district. Yes, that whoever owned slaves had to give a report of how these people were protected. Protected from what? From the cruel masters. And who were those? The Boers. Supervision, registration, and treatment of slaves followed. Yes, that is the protection being put in place? Is it being effected, or is it just in theory? So you would go supervising and see how the slaves were being treated at their respective slave centers. In 1817, he established a school for slaves, which was not done. All slaves were now supposed to go to school and also attain some minimum level of education, and that was very good. He supervised, working hours were reduced. Yes. Why were the working hours for slaves reduced? Because he wanted to give them a rest. Yes. He said that slaves are not machines. They need a rest. So he had reduced the working hours for slaves, and the Boers had to abide. He ordered for the hanging of a Boer farmer who was known as Bazweden Homt. Why was he ordered to be hanged? The Boer farmer, because he had defied the court summons. You know, the Boers had been given pride by the Dutch administration that they could act in any way. So when this Boer farmer was summoned to attend court session after being accused of mistreating slaves, he had to be hanged because he refused to go to courts. That was an order from Lord Somerset. That was in 1817, which came to be known as the Selehanet incident. That incident which of course shocked everybody. Everybody was shocked because the Boer farmer was hanged after failing to appear in courts of law. That was the power and the might of Lord Somerset. Courts were put in place. By 1812, courts had been placed. They were known as statute courts. They were known as statute courts. also known as mobile courts. Also known as mobile courts. They moved from one place to another, from one district to another, dealing with cases to do with enslavement. Those slaves who were being mistreated were being served by these courts. They moved from district to district, ensuring that the Boer cruel masters were given warning and prosecuted immediately by the circuit courts. He also tried to stop the European frontier wars, and those were the Kafiri wars. He was one of the mediators who did not want these wars to rage on, and for him he used peaceful means, the diplomatic means, to end these wars. He allowed the British farmers in neutral zones. Why did he allow the British farmers in neutral zones? Because allowing the British to mix freely with the Africans would cause some kind of shoulder rubbing. So he said that neutral zones for the British and the neutral zones for the blacks, that kind of buffering to ensure that people have got clear boundaries, to ensure that they live in peace. And lastly, he separated the Boers from the Shosha. And the Shosha were very much interested in taking over the land of the Shosha. No wonder it caused the Kafiri wars, or the wars we call the frontier wars, or the wars of dispossession. So, to avoid that one escalating, he had to ensure that the Boers were separated from the Shosha. What does that mean? He was indirectly trying to keep them off from fighting each other, because the main issue for these fights was the land, and then followed by the cows, the cattle. So that one created raiding and what? And counter raiding. And because of the wise decisions of Lord Somerset, he had to put them apart, creating a peaceful atmosphere for all of them to coexist.